I'm going to talk to you about something that happened to me probably a couple of months ago. It was longer than that. It was during the winter. This was one of my hardest winters I've had in my life. And as it turned out, I made excuses to myself not to come to church. It's a 50-mile round trip for me, and I convinced myself I'm going to lose gasoline and everything else. So that developed into a Sunday thing where I just didn't care anymore. And I also was continuing to go to the doctor and getting different reports. The first one, he sent me to see a doctor about dementia. And I went to Murfreesboro, and they sent me to someone from the college up there who gave me a 4-hour test, totally wore me out. And the report came back, Joe has the start of dementia. I have an older, or had an older sister who I was taking care of in Florida. I drove 4 hours from Ocala down to Palm Beach where she lived about once a month. Spent the night, took her out to dinner to a nice restaurant she liked by the ocean, and could tell how the mind works when you have dementia. She had it. And it was happy in some ways to see that she was recalling and also living a time period over again. But of course it's unhappy just to see her mind going that way. And when I was forecast that dementia would get worse, I thought, I don't want to have somebody have to take care of me the way I took care of her. And I saw her, in her mind, she was a teenager again for a while. The next time I visited, she was a grade schooler. I mean, that's where her mind was, even though she was 90 years old. And I took care of her as much as I could. Sometimes I spent a week, 2 weeks with her. But she refused to go to a nursing home, refused to do anything about it. She quit taking her pills. I didn't know that. A neighbor told me. We finally got her back on her pills again. But it was just a terrible experience, and now I have a doctor's report. I'm on the outset of it. That wasn't bad enough because my doctor told me to go see this other doctor. And after he finished all of his tests, the word came back, oh, I had a bump removed off my arm. And it came back the start of cancer. Now my family, almost every one of them had died of either dementia or cancer. And now I've got both of them on damn. So I went for a second. I had another bump on top of my head, which was worse than the one on my arm. And they sliced it off, sent it away, and sure enough, yeah, he's got cancer, all right. And I had gone into a real depression by then. I would sit in my easy chair in the front room, watch the traffic pass outside, and that was my life. You know, I didn't like it, but I didn't want to do anything except sit there and wait till I died. Well, the worst thing that happened is I have been an actor at community theater and loved it. Just absolutely ate it up. I've had the starring roles. I've had the little walk-on role. I did 2 lines and walked off and they never saw me again. I loved them all. I was doing a play up in Manchester, the other play I've ever done up there. The Cat on the Hot Tin Roof, and I played the part of Big Daddy. I don't know how I got the part, but I was Big Daddy. And Big Daddy sometimes forgot where he was in the middle of the act, and the stage went quiet. It was my line, but I'm looking around for somebody to deliver their line, and they're all looking at me. It was embarrassing. I managed to get through the 2 weeks and went back to Shelbyville. I did the next play, and I had 15 lines, and by golly, I ran through those. So I said, all right. Then I made a mistake of going back to a 3rd play, and I was not the lead, but kind of the 2nd lead. I played a minister. Now that took some acting on my part, but I had fun learning the lines, and I knew them. And I went on, and the very first night, I played the preacher, and I've got a Bible in front of me, and I looked at the audience, and everything went zip. And they wrote the lines, they typed them out for me, and put them in the Bible. So here I am, a preacher, reading my Bible all the time because they got the lines in them. Even when I did that, I would reach a certain point, I'd look at the audience, and my mind would go blank. Don't look down, the lines are there. And I'm looking at the audience, and they're looking at me, and the guy who's waiting for my punchline to give to him is still waiting. And he told me later, he said, I didn't know whether to interrupt you or not. I said, I wish you had. But that made me think, that's it. As much as I enjoy this, I'm not going to embarrass myself or the other cast members. And I've never done a play since. I miss that tremendously. So anyway, here I am at home every Sunday for, gosh, I guess almost 3 or 4 months. Well, I thought about my father and my older sister who I took care of, and they died with dementia. I thought about my younger sister. She was the youngest of the bunch of the 4 children, and damn if she didn't die first with cancer. My brother died of cancer, and I nursed my wife through her final months with cancer. It was not pleasant, that's for sure. And I was just thinking, well, I'm going to die of it. Why do anything? I'm just going to sit here and wait for it to happen. I even did something I had never done in my life. I contemplated suicide. It lasted one night. I said, nah, wouldn't go there. But by God, I had it planned out. I knew exactly how I was going to do it. It wouldn't involve anybody. I would do it myself. They would find the dead body, cremate it, whatever. But I said, no, I backed myself out of that one. Anyway, I really had depression setting in. And I managed to talk myself out of that, and then spring was coming along. And as I say, I hadn't been to church, and I thought of Larry Jones and how good he made me feel that one day. And I thought, I'll at least go and shake his hand. I'll go to church. I won't make any big thing about it. I did. I walked in, got my cup of water as I normally do, went over and sat in the same chair that I had sat that day Larry welcomed me back. I think that's the day he missed. He wasn't there. But by golly, most of the people I remembered and knew said, welcome back, Joe. That was it. They didn't ask why I missed all these weeks. They just said, welcome back. It made me feel very, very good. And then I started thinking as I was getting ready for this speech, I hope I don't make anybody feel bad because of the bad times I went through. Because it turns out all right. But I also want to let you know that you means an awful lot to me. All the individuals, everybody as a group. And that's why I titled my speech today, Man in His 80s and You. This is my 80th year on this earth. And this past year has been the worst, but it's getting better all the time. By golly, I'm feeling good about it. So here I am, back at UU again, and doing my part by making a speech. It's gotten so much better. I feel so happy again, having the people I know here, to meet them, to shake hands, to hug. A lot of the ladies will tell you, you've been here for a while, I'm a hugger, and I'll accept any hug that will be given to me today. So I thank everybody, especially the help I've got from the people I've known for the 10 years. And by the way, I celebrated your way of stopping work again. What's it called?
Retirement.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Stephen has been one of my good friends here, and I really was happy for you. I'm sorry you didn't make it that day. A great big cake for you. I understand they're still working on it. But congratulations on your retirement. It's really great. Well, I'm trying to make up my last notes here. For all the people who sent in the notes, one of them very simply said, "We miss your smile." And I thought about it. I don't remember smiling that much, but that made me feel good. And another one said it was just, "We have a room left for the big November get-together, if you want it." It was from someone I never even knew her name. But I thought, my gosh, if strangers are writing to me, I'm going back to church. So I did, and I am so glad. I'm so glad here to have you people. So the guy in his 80s says, "Thank you very much to you folks at UU for making me feel good again."